Joining me now is the former Supreme Allied Commander of NATO, Admiral James Stavridis. He's NBC News Chief International Analyst. He's the author of multiple important books, including his latest, The Restless Wave, a novel of the United States Navy. Admiral, it's good to see you. Thank you for being with us. I want to pick up from my conversation with Richard. In addition to President Biden's decision to allow Ukraine to use these American-made ATACMS in Russia, Joe Biden's also reversed course on anti-personnel landmines, which he's allowing the Ukrainians to use. In the summer months of 2022, just sort of months into the war, the Biden administration ended a Trump-era policy allowing the use of those landmines. Talk to me about that. This is certainly an escalation in this war.
No question it is. And really the history of the Biden team's approach here has been cautionary. Let's take our time. Let's wait till we send the tanks. Let's wait till we send the air defense. Let's wait till we send the F-16s. Now, here at the very end of their portion of this, they are, in my view, commendably opening the floodgates on the ATACMS missiles and the anti-personnel landmines, both of which will be important but not definitive in changing the course of the war. Ali, I think important to note, if you go back one click earlier, what probably pushed this over was the arrival on the battlefield of North Korean troops, 10,000 North Korean troops. Richard used the phrase global war. This is becoming a global war. I think that is what precipitated opening the use of ATACMS as well as the anti-personnel mines. So bottom line here, as Trump team starts to populate and moves in, it's quite probable we're going to see a negotiation. So on our side of that firing line, we had to do everything we can to get the Ukrainians in the strongest possible position if and when that negotiation begins, and I think it will, probably in spring of 2025.
And you make an interesting point, because while everybody's been arming everybody, the Iranians and the North Koreans have been arming Russia, and the West and NATO have been arming Ukraine. The North Korean soldiers on the ground in this disputed area, it's not disputed territory that the Ukrainians have gone into, has changed the game. You have written in a new piece that appeared in Bloomberg that Ukraine and Russia can find peace with a DMZ, a demilitarized zone. Tell me what you mean by that.
If we think back to the end of the Korean War, here you had a vicious conflict moved up and down the Korean Peninsula. Part of the key to getting to a ceasefire, and by the way, North and South Korea are still technically in a state of war. This is not a peace deal in Korea. It was a ceasefire. Getting there included creating a demilitarized zone, meaning simply 5 to 10 miles between the forces where there were no combat operations, and that DMZ patrolled, in the case of the Korean Peninsula, by North and South Korea. Here, it could be patrolled by Ukraine and Russia, or by an international peacekeeping force, or by NATO troops and Russian troops. You could think of some variants here. But the idea is get the sides apart from each other geographically. I think that has some salience, and I think probably will be part of the conversation when the negotiation begins.
Admiral, good to talk to you as always. Thank you for joining us. The Admiral James Stavridis is the former Supreme Allied Commander at NATO. He's an MSNBC Chief International Analyst.